of buzz going on about these products, and with good reason. They're probably the next big leap that Apple's shooting for. They're great, they're fast, everything, but I still think there are some things that people should know about before actually going out and buying these things. So that's what this video is going to be about. Should you buy the new M1 Max? So just to make sure that we're on the same page here and just kind of set a baseline. In the One More Thing event that Apple held late 2020 online, they released and announced 3 new Macs sporting the M1 silicon chip made by Apple themselves. These are the Mac Mini, the small computer that was discontinued and brought back in 2018, I believe, and then the MacBook Air 13-inch and the MacBook Pro 13-inch. So, with these 3 new products, Apple promised mainly two benefits from the previous generations, sporting the Intel chips, which are widely accepted. And these are mainly performance and efficiency, and well, they delivered both. So as you can see from these Geekbench scores, if we see in terms of the single core score from Geekbench browser, of course, all of the new M1 Macs, that is the Mac Mini, MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, you can see it says Apple M1, they're all in the sort of 1689 to 1705 range in terms of single core score, whereas the older MacBook Pros, that is the ones launched in mid 2019 and late 2019, are all down here. So that's a big leap in terms of like single core score. In terms of multi-core scores, it's not that much, but you can still see a difference while multitasking heavily. So as you can see here, of course the Mac Pros are on top, but if you come a little down, you can see that all the 3 are around the 7300 to 7400 range, whereas the older ones, which are right here, the MacBook Pro, late 2019, it's around the 6800 range. So that's quite a lot fast, and I've also seen multiple videos on YouTube stating that the battery life, that is the efficiency part of it, has also been working as promised. Like I think they said like 18 to 20 hours of casual video playback. That's been done. I'll leave a few links to those videos that I watched down below the like button. You can go watch them out. But yeah, as you can see, they just completely crushed the older ones, and some of the scores have even been better than the Mac Pros that have been launched before, and as you can see here in terms of single core. And some of these scores, that is the single core scores, are even better than the iMac, that the 27-inch iMac launched like mid 2020. Like that has a 9.9, and now that's impressive. Alright, so that's all, very bright, very promising numbers, Geekbench scores, and it's a lot of good stuff. But I think there's one main problem that a lot of users might face, and that is compatibility. So with the shift from Intel chips to the new M1 chips, Apple decided to move from x86 architecture used mostly by Intel chips over to ARM architecture that actually is better for efficiency and performance. So what this means is now there are 2 types of apps mainly that will run on these new Macs. There are native apps and then there are non-native apps. Native apps, as the name may suggest, are made by Apple themselves and maintained by Apple themselves. So they'll run perfectly optimized, perfectly performing, and they'll run extremely amazing on the new Macs. But then there are the non-native apps like Photoshop, Audacity, Premiere Pro. Those will have some hiccups, and here's why. Those apps were made to run on x86 architecture previously, but now they're forced to run through Rosetta 2, which is an element that Apple usually uses for these kind of shifts in technology. The problem is that some of these apps may not even just install on the Mac, and then if they do, they might not perform particularly better or well, or they might even perform worse. And then some apps, they may be performing well, they may be installing perfectly, but then there will be some features that have hiccups, like glitches. Basically they won't work properly, perfectly fine. And that's the deal. Like, for most people who just, work the 9 to 5 job and just have like a particular, like, their work is kind of convenient. Like they mostly only use mail. Their work half the time only consists of Word, Excel, and then browser, for mail and stuff maybe. I think they should go for these new Macs. Like they're just, each of these three new Macs are just absolutely amazing. But for the people who use that one particular app that is very crucial to whatever they do, let's say you do, I don't know, photography stuff, you need Photoshop, and if it doesn't work, well, you can't make it work for right now. And we also saw Adobe come out on stage during the show and say that Photoshop's coming out for the new M1 Max, perfectly optimized only next year. So that also doesn't give too much hope for the new indie and smaller developers. So that's the deal. The conclusion is that if you use, if your work can be a little convenient around these parts, like you can use Word, and if it doesn't work, you can use something else. It doesn't really matter what apps you use, then I think you should go for them. But if you have a streamlined particular app and workflow that you need, then I think you just shouldn't go for them. But there's also good news at the end of all of this. There's going to be new Macs, including where we're expecting the iMac and another Mac Pro, and maybe even reduced prices. All of this coming next year, like 2021, maybe early or mid 2021, and then there's also going to be stuff coming late 2021. Those are the things that you really want to be waiting for, trust me on this. But if you really need them for work or for whatever reason, if you desperately need a laptop right now, obviously you need to buy them. They're great. But if you can wait, if you already got a laptop that you already are using, it's fine. Then I think you should wait. If you can wait. If you can't, go for it. And it's usually the second generations that are a lot more interesting. They perform well, have a lot less hiccups. We saw the same thing with folding phones. The first generations, they looked nice and they posed good benefits and they had potential. But taking that potential, the second generations and third generations made them much better. And the hinges and everything was just perfect. So yeah, I think for that small number of people who don't need the new laptops right now, and their work heavily depends on a particular app, I think we should wait. The second gens, those are the ones you're gonna be waiting for. But for the other people, I think it's time to enjoy and buy the new laptops. Maybe Christmas is coming up, so yeah, that's my 2 cents on this topic. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and sub would be cool if you did, and I'll see you guys soon.